Welcome to Thinner Peace and Menopause and Beyond. This is Dr. Deb Butler, Master Life and Weight Coach, and as always, your coach. Today is episode number 138, and I've got a very special treat because I want to talk to you about a 3-letter word that can not only change your body, but change your life, and you can totally create it anytime you want. Now, I created this podcast while I was still living in Belize, so I really want you to pay attention to that because as I listen to it, it brings back so many memories. And the story that I tell you, it still brings tears to my eyes. It was so special. So listen up, enjoy, and I'll talk to you next week. Hello, all my dear friends. How are you today? It's a beautiful day in paradise. I say that every time, but it is. And it's rainy season here, so the sun's not out. The clouds are down. In fact, I can barely see the horizon because the clouds are kind of touching it. But it's just so beautiful. A little hot, no sun, gorgeous, no complaints. How are you today? Well, listen, today what I want to talk to you about is a 3-letter word, and I don't know if you've guessed it yet, but it's not a curse word or anything like that. It is the word Joy. Joy to the world. I love that. I love the word. I love what it means. I love how it feels. Now, I am teaching a class right now, which I probably share with you, right? Probably every single time I talk to you because it's so much fun to do. And I get so many ideas from my students, and the ideas that I get from them, I like to share with you and share on my blogs. And of course, I don't give names and I don't give really personal stories, but I just kind of like to tell you the gist of what it is, share it with you, and maybe it'll help you in your life too. So here's what my last class was about. It was about this 3-letter word called joy. Now, I have a very special worksheet that I use for this word, and it's in my companion book, but I want to give you an opportunity to just get it so that you can do the work on your own brain, either now while I'm doing this with you or later. And you can get it by going to drdebbutler.com/joy. There will be the joy little worksheet, and it's also on page 25 if you want to get it out of the companion workbook itself. But either or, I think you'll be able to follow along with me without seeing it, but I think it would help you a lot if you used it and filled it out on yourself. So that's what I want to offer you first. Now, I've got to tell you about this story that happened to me because this is the reason that I want to bring up joy again. I know I've talked about joy in my early podcasts, and I know I kind of say the word a lot because it feels good and I want you to be able to create it. But more than anything, it's like when you realize that a lot of emotions are a choice that you get to choose, then you really need to decide which ones you like to feel the most. So I don't know about you, but anxiety and worry and resentment and bitterness are not like my top ones. And yet, when I coach people, a lot of times this is the emotions that they're feeling on a regular basis. So I love to talk about joy, and hopefully by the end of this podcast, you're going to realize how accessible it is to you right now. So first, I want to share this story with you. First of all, I want you to know that I believe in synchronicity. I believe that things happen for a reason. And I think sometimes even like when I'm deciding what I want to talk to you about or what I want to talk to my class about or what I want to blog about, I'll sometimes just put it out into the universe, if you want to call it that, whatever your favorite word is, and see what comes. So this is what I was doing as I was getting ready for my class. Here's what happened. I have this little book that I absolutely love. I know I've talked to you about it many times before, but I will keep talking about it because it's my favorite book. I use it every morning when I wake up, and it's called Awakening Loving Kindness. And it's just a tiny little red book by Pema Chodron, which of course is one of my favorite authors and teachers. And this little book is just filled with nuggets. There is a special chapter in there that is called Joy. And I know in some of my past podcasts, I've read you one of those little snippets in there because I think it's so special. But here's what I want to share with you. Since I read this book so much, a lot of the pages have fallen out and I just kind of keep them all together. Well, one day I was sitting out on my deck overlooking the Caribbean Sea. I know, somebody's got to do it. And all the pages basically blew away. So I was missing a lot of pages out of my special little book. And I know I can get another one, but I didn't. And one day, I would say maybe 2 weeks ago, my husband, Michael, comes home from a bike ride. And he says, I think this belongs to you. And he hands me a page from my little red booklet, Awakening Loving Kindness. One page came back to me. And guess what that page was? It was a page on joy. That's pretty coincidental enough. Then I thought, oh my gosh, this is just unbelievable. How did you find this? And what made you pick it up? And all of that stuff. But anyway, he's kind of on the same wavelength as me and everything that I teach you and many of you. So he knew it meant something and he read it and he was overjoyed. But he said, I think it belongs to you so you can put it back in your book. Then a few days ago, as I was thinking about what I wanted to speak to my class about, I had taken off a cap that I was wearing from the sun and I put it down. And the next time I went to look at it, and I am not kidding you, the same page on joy was sitting in it. I do not know how it got there. I am not here to try and explain it. I'm just saying, from my viewpoint, it just appeared. I'll tell you what. The second time this page appeared to me after it blew away. So this is what I want to share with you today. First, I want to read that page to you again because I think it's meant to be read again. Because my job, I believe, is to share things with the world and inspire people and help people be their best, enjoy their life their most, to know that your weight is just an internal symptom of something that's not really going on right in your own brain, and that it's all fixable, and that eating the right food is not necessarily the way to fix it, that it's really all up in your head and it's all under your control. That's the way I like to inspire people, and I believe that's what I'm here to do. So, here are my little joy pages again. So I want to start this out by reading the back and front page of this to you to get you in the mood for joy. And then I want to share a worksheet from my companion book, page 25, or for those of you that may download it, drdebbutler.com/joy. You can get it on my website, drdebbutler.com/joy. And then you can follow along with me when I get to it. So first, what I want to do is I'm going to read you what came from my Pema Chodron book on Awakening Loving Kindness. And here's what it says. And you have to realize that this just appeared and came back to me twice in about 3 weeks after it blew away. So I just want you to realize that, okay? So if you're listening to the podcast today, I believe this message is as much for you as it was for me. Okay. Joy has to do with seeing how big, how completely unobstructed, and how precious things are. Resenting what happens to you and complaining about your life are like refusing to smell the wild roses when you go for a morning walk, are like being so blind that you don't see a huge black raven when it lands in the tree that you're sitting under. We can get so caught up in our own personal pain and worries that we don't notice that the wind has come up, or that somebody has put flowers on the dining room table, or that when we walked out in the morning, the flags weren't up, and that when we came back, they were flying. Resentment, bitterness, and holding a grudge prevents us from seeing and hearing and tasting and delighting. There's a story of a woman running away from tigers. She runs and runs, and the tigers are getting closer and closer. And when she comes to the edge of a cliff, she sees some vines. She sees some vines there. So she climbs down and holds on to the vines. Looking down, she sees that there are tigers below her as well. She then notices that a mouse is gnawing away at the vine to which she is clinging. She also sees a beautiful little bunch of strawberries close to her, growing out of a clump of grass. She looks up and she looks down. She looks at the mouse, and then she takes a strawberry, she puts it in her mouth, and enjoys it thoroughly. Tigers above and tigers below. This is actually the predicament that we are always in terms of our birth and death. Each moment is just what it is. It might be the only moment of our life. It might be the only strawberry we'll ever eat. We could get depressed about it, or we could finally appreciate it and delight in the preciousness of every single moment of our life. I can never read that enough, and obviously I'm supposed to read it a lot because it keeps coming back to me. I hope you enjoyed that. So now this is where I want to take you. How do you think joy comes to you? So here's the way my worksheet works, and I'm just going to ask you the questions, and I am going to answer them the way one of my students did in our class a couple days ago. And then I want to show you how this worksheet will help you learn how to create your own joy. Okay, so on this worksheet, the first question is, what are your top 5 sources of joy? Now, here is what my student said. She said, food. She laughed, and I laughed, but yeah, that's what she said. 2, her dog. 3, her husband. 4, painting, specifically with watercolor. 5, walking outside in nature in the trees. So those are her top 5 sources of joy. So then I asked her, and this is what I would ask you, this is the next question on the worksheet. How do you feel about this list? What she said to me is, well, I don't feel like I get enough joy from these things, that I don't do them enough. And then she went on to say, really what I want to be doing, what I think could give me great joy, is I think I need to start dancing. Specifically, I think I need to do ballet. I said, okay, well, let's just add that about how you feel about your list. Then I asked her, do you need to diversify your joy more? Which is the next question on this worksheet. And of course, what she said to me more than anything is she needs to utilize the joy that she wrote down and experience it more by doing more of the things that are on her list. So then I asked her, and I'm asking you too, what would you like your top source of joy to be? And this is what she said. Doing something with my hands, specifically like painting or knitting, is what she said. Here's the clincher question that I'm asking you, and then I asked her. In what ways can you create joy internally? Give 2 examples. And she says to me, she takes a deep breath and she goes, you mean, how can I create joy inside of me? And I said, yeah. And she really had to take a pause, and maybe you do too, because the purpose of this worksheet is to show you and show her that where does joy come from, right? We all think that it comes from things. For instance, her husband, her dog, walking in the woods, those kind of things. And I'm sure you have your own list. And of course, when you look at your own list, many times either you're not doing enough or something's wrong or you need to add to it, just like she did, which does not create joy. And the purpose of the question is for her and for you to realize that joy is something that is created from your own mind, not from a circumstance, not from a thing, right? Which means not what you do, not who you're with, but how you think about all of that. And that means that those thoughts are available to you anytime you want to use them. So I asked her, in what ways can you create joy internally? Give 2 examples. So the first example that she gave was, well, I guess even though I'm sitting here right now and I'm at work and I'm talking to you, I could think about my husband and my dog and what it would feel like to be with them. And I said, well, how does that feel when you think about that right now? And you could just hear the change in her voice. She says, it feels great. It feels joyful. And I said, uh-huh. And I said, yeah. So that means you're feeling joy right this minute. Is that right? And she said, yes. I mean, she was just like stunned because she realized that joy comes from her own mind and what she thinks. So then I asked her, and I would ask you too, is there any way that you can bring your mind back to this present moment right now and think of something that would make you feel joyful, right? Because it's lovely to bring your mind anywhere you want, backwards, forwards, whatever you want to do. But really, wouldn't it be lovely to be wherever it is you are right now? Like right now, you're all listening to this podcast and maybe you're driving, maybe you're walking, maybe you're sleeping. I don't know. But can you imagine right this minute, however you felt before you were listening to my podcast? Can you imagine using your mind right now to create a thought that would make you feel joyful? So this is what I said to her. And then she immediately said to me, and this was another like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. She says, well, you know what? I'm at work right now and I could think how grateful I am that I have a job. It's like monumental. It's like, oh my gosh. But that's the truth. She is grateful that she has a job. And as soon as she said it, you could once again hear the tone of her voice. It sounded joyful. And it was just like an OMG moment for her, 2 OMG moments that it occurred to her that she doesn't have to go looking for joy, that it is inside of her all the time if she uses her own mind to create it. So that was an aha moment for her, an aha moment for my whole class, meaning, oh my gosh, my thoughts create my feelings. Like, what are all 81 of my podcasts all about? My thoughts create my feelings. That means if I want to choose to think something, like for instance, I'm so grateful I have my job, you create an immediate feeling of gratitude, joy, some kind of high, heavy, lovely vibration in your body that feels so good. And just think about how you look and how you act when you're coming from a place of joy. My gosh, everything gets better, right? You just start doing things that are better for you. And that is what I want to give to you today. This is the gift I want to give to you today. I want to give you the gift of joy. It is right at your fingertips. Just take those fingertips, put it on your head, knock on it and say, hello, can you think of something that might make you feel joyful right now? And I will tell you what, the most simple thing could be, oh my gosh, I can breathe. Do you know what it would feel like if you could not catch your next breath? Oh my gosh. We just take it for granted. Oh, I'm always going to be able to breathe. Can you imagine not being able to breathe and then getting a breath? Joyful. It is available to you right now. Now, I will tell you what, when you come from a place of joy, your own self-care changes. And the difference in my student from when we started this exercise, because all she was thinking is she's not doing enough and she should think of more. I mean, everything that's wrong with her. right? That's where our brains just like to go. I don't have enough. I need more. I'm not doing it. I should think of something else. And at the end of this exercise, she was a totally different person. Everything changed. Her vibration changed. And you know the law of attraction, believe it or not, but the law of attraction says the higher your vibration, the more you attract higher vibrations. The higher your feelings, the more you attract more higher feelings, like more positive things come to you. I don't know, believe it or not, but if you do, you get to create those high, heavy vibrations in your own body anytime you feel like it. So for instance, like what I said to them when I was trying to give them examples of how to create something internally, you know, I'm living in paradise right now and my brain can go all kinds of places. But the minute I look out at that Caribbean Sea, I go, wow, joy, joy, joy. Because I choose to think something beautiful about what I'm looking at. You have the same choice. I want to leave you with that today. I don't care how you're feeling right now. You have a choice to think and feel differently. So I want to encourage you to go and get this joy worksheet at my website, drdebbutler.com/joy. drdebbutler.com/joy. Okay? And I hope that you have some aha moments, just like my student had, just like I have every single time that page comes floating back to me. That's crazy. And just realize that life is so precious and that your one life is so precious. And that even when you can think that, if that doesn't create joy, I don't know what would. Okay, that's what I have to share with you today. Probably the best gift I could ever give to you. And listen, if you know somebody or you're going to be with somebody today, share it with them. Give them the gift of joy. And until next week, I want you to be very, very kind to yourself. Bye-bye.
To get a free copy of Dr. Deb's companion workbook with all the tools, homeworks, and discussions that she uses in her podcast with all of her private clients, please go to drdebbutler.com/change. This will make it even easier to follow along with her in future broadcasts.